Hello, my dear students. Today I want to take you back to the beginning of my English journey. A time when I knew nothing. A time when I couldn't understand even a simple English sentence. Yes, it's true. I want to tell you something honestly. I was a complete beginner. I couldn't speak English. I couldn't read English. I couldn't write English. And listening? That was the most difficult part. When I heard English, it just sounded like noise. Fast noise. Confusing noise. I didn't understand anything. At that time, English felt like a mountain. A big, tall mountain. And I was standing at the bottom, feeling small and scared. I thought, can I really climb this? Can I learn this language? I had so many doubts, so many fears. I looked at others who spoke English well, and I felt jealous. I thought, they are lucky. They are smart. I'm not like them. But deep in my heart, I had a dream. A small dream. A simple dream. I wanted to speak English. I wanted to understand movies. I wanted to talk to people from other countries. I wanted to travel the world and not feel lost. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be free. One day, I sat alone in my room. I looked at my notebook. It was empty. I opened YouTube. I saw people teach in English. They were smiling. They were using simple words. I didn't understand everything, but I understood one thing. They were trying to help. And in that moment, I told myself, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. So I made a decision. A big decision. I said, from today, I will learn English. I don't care if it's hard. I don't care if it takes time. I will not give up. That was the beginning. That was the most powerful moment. Not the day I became fluent, not the day I understood a full movie. Number. The most powerful day was the day I started. That was the day everything changed. At first, I didn't know how to learn. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have a classroom. I didn't even have a plan. But I had one thing, a strong heart, a heart that said, keep going. I started with small steps. I learned 5 words, just 5. I wrote them in my notebook. I read them again and again. I used Google Translate to understand them. I repeated them out loud. Those 5 words were not just vocabulary. They were my first bricks. I was building something big. The first few days were hard, very hard. I made mistakes. I forgot words. I said things wrong. I laughed at myself. But I didn't stop. I didn't quit. Every day I said, just a little more. Just 10 minutes. Just 5 new words. Just 1 new sentence. That's how I began. I want you to know something important, my dear student. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to be brave. You need to say, I want to learn. That's enough. You don't need to speak like a native speaker on the first day. You don't need to read a whole book in English on your first week. Just take small steps, simple steps. Do what you can. Use what you have. And remember, I was just like you. I knew nothing. But I started. And that was the most beautiful decision of my life. So today, if you are thinking, can I learn English? My answer is, yes, you can, because I did it. And if I can, you can too. After I made the decision to start learning English, I felt something new inside me. It was a small fire, a feeling of hope. I was still at the beginning. I didn't know much. I couldn't make long sentences. But I knew one thing very well. Words are the building blocks of any language. So I told myself, if I want to learn English, I need to start with words. one word at a time. At first, everything was confusing. I didn't know where to begin. There were thousands of English words. But I didn't panic. I didn't try to learn everything in one day. I chose a simple plan. I started with easy, basic words, the ones I hear in daily life like book, pen, water, table, apple, school, sun, and happy. These were not big words, but to me, they were like little treasures. I used flashcards to help me. I took small pieces of paper and wrote English words on one side and their meanings in my language on the other side. Every morning, I would sit down and look at my flashcards. I said each word out loud. Table, table, table. I closed my eyes and imagined the word. I pictured a table in my mind. That helped me remember. Then I would test myself. I looked at the English side and tried to remember the meaning. Sometimes I got it right. Sometimes I forgot. But I never felt bad. I just smiled and tried again. Later, I found mobile apps for learning vocabulary. Some apps had pictures, games, and quizzes. They made learning fun. I used one app for just 10 minutes a day, but those 10 minutes changed everything. I could learn 5 to 10 new words every day. And the best part? I could use the app anytime, on the bus, in my bed, even while waiting in line. My phone became my teacher. I didn't waste time. I used every free moment to learn something new. One day, I had a new idea. I took sticky notes, small, colorful papers, and started writing English words on them. Then I stuck them all around my room. On my mirror, I wrote mirror. On the door, I wrote door. On my notebook, I wrote notebook. My room became my English classroom. Every time I walked around, I saw those words again and again. I didn't need to study them. Just by seeing them every day, I started to remember. The words slowly became part of my life. And do you know something beautiful? I started to feel something special for those words. I started to fall in love with English words. Each new word felt like a friend, a small light, a key that opened a door. The more words I learned, the more confident I became. When I could name things around me in English, I felt powerful. I felt like I was growing. Sometimes I sat quietly and just looked at my word wall. I read the words one by one. Window, chair water, smile, learn, hope. And every time I said a word, I smiled. I was not perfect. I still made mistakes. But I was trying. I was moving forward. And that felt amazing. I want you to remember this, my dear student. Words are magic. They are small, but they have power. When you learn one new word, your world becomes a little bigger. Don't worry about grammar or long sentences in the beginning. Just focus on words. Learn 5 words a day, then 10, then 20. Use flashcards, use apps, use sticky notes. Surround yourself with English. That's what I did, and slowly I became stronger. My dream was growing, and my words were the seeds. I was planting them every day, and soon I started to see a beautiful garden. And you can grow your English garden too, one word at a time. Dear students, today I want to tell you about one of the most powerful things I did to learn English. I started listening to English every day. Yes, every single day. At first it was not easy. It was hard. It was confusing. I didn't understand most of the words. Sometimes I felt like giving up. But deep inside, I believed something. If I keep listening, I will understand one day. And that belief kept me going. In the beginning, I started with simple things. I searched for English songs on YouTube. I picked slow songs, songs with soft music and clear voices. I didn't understand the lyrics at first, but I loved the sound of English. I listened again and again. Sometimes I listened to the same song 10 times. Slowly, I began to catch a few words, then a sentence. I used to close my eyes and just listen. Even if I didn't understand, I enjoyed the rhythm and the melody. And guess what? My ears were learning. My brain was learning. My heart was learning. Then, I found short English videos made for beginners. Some videos were only 2 or 3 minutes long. They used simple language and clear pronunciation. I watched them every morning, like a habit. I listened carefully. I didn't use subtitles in the beginning because I wanted to train my ears. I wanted to feel the language. Sometimes, I watched a video 5 times. The first time, I understood nothing. The second time, maybe a little. The third time, I could hear familiar words. And by the 5th time, I understood the main idea. It was slow, but it was working. One day, I discovered Easy English podcasts. They were like stories or conversations between people speaking slowly and clearly. I downloaded them and listened while walking, cooking, or lying in bed. I even listened before sleeping. I didn't care if I understood everything. I just listened. I let the English flow into my ears and into my heart. I told myself, your job is not to understand everything. Your job is to listen and feel the language. At first, my mind said, this is too hard. But my heart said, keep going. So I listened with my heart. I trusted the process. Day by day, week by week, I began to recognize more and more words. I started understanding phrases. I could hear where one word ended and another started. My ears became stronger. My listening became sharper. I didn't become perfect, but I became better. Much better. Sometimes I would hear a word in a podcast and then see the same word in a book or on a flashcard. That made me so happy. I felt like I was connecting the dots. It was like magic. Listening was helping me in ways I never expected. I didn't need a classroom. I didn't need a teacher. I just needed my phone, my ears, and my heart. That's how I practiced listening. I made English part of my world. I surrounded myself with the sounds of the language, and slowly, those sounds started to make sense. Dear students, if you are learning English, I want you to remember this. Don't be afraid if you don't understand everything at first. That's okay. That's normal. Just keep listening. Trust the process. Let English be the music of your day. Listen with your ears, yes, but also listen with your heart. Because that's how I learned. And that's how you can learn too. Dear student, let me tell you something very important. Speaking English was not easy for me in the beginning. In fact, it was the hardest part. I was shy. I was scared. I thought, what if I make a mistake? What if I say the wrong word? What if someone laughs at me? These questions stopped me from speaking in front of others. But I didn't give up. I found another way. I started to talk to myself. Yes, I really did. I talked to myself in English every day. I didn't wait for a teacher. I didn't wait for a partner. I became my own partner. I practiced speaking alone. And you know what? It helped me so much. Every morning, I stood in front of my mirror. I looked at myself and started speaking. At first, I only said simple sentences like, "Good morning. How are you today? I am fine." I am going to study English. I looked into my own eyes and tried to speak clearly and with confidence. I didn't care if I made mistakes. I just kept talking. Sometimes I pretended I was in real conversations. I imagined that I was in a cafe, ordering food. "Hello, I would like a cup of tea, please." Then I acted like the waiter and replied, "Sure, would you like anything to eat?" I laughed sometimes because it felt funny, but I also felt proud. I was practicing. I was speaking English. Even if no one was listening, I was improving. I also talked to myself during the day. When I was alone in my room, I described what I was doing. I am reading a book. Now I am writing something. I am going to the kitchen to drink water. These sentences were simple, but they helped me think in English. They made me more comfortable with speaking. I was training my brain to use English every day. Another trick I used was recording my voice. I used my phone to record myself speaking about any topic: my day, my dreams, my family, or my plans for the week. At first, I didn't like the sound of my voice. It felt strange, but after some time, I got used to it. I listened to the recordings again and again. I checked my pronunciation. I repeated the same sentences to improve. Slowly, my voice became clearer. My words became smoother. I also repeated sentences from English podcasts and YouTube videos. I listened carefully and then paused the video. I repeated what they said. Sometimes I repeated the same sentence 5 or 6 times until I could say it smoothly. It was like shadowing, following their voice like a shadow. It helped me speak faster and more naturally. Day by day, I started feeling less afraid. My voice got stronger. My mouth moved more easily. My fear turned into confidence. I realized something powerful. You don't need someone else to start speaking. You can start with yourself. The mirror is your friend. Your voice is your teacher. Your room is your classroom. I know it feels strange in the beginning, but believe me, this method works. It worked for me. I talked to myself until speaking English became a part of my life. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. I was growing. I was learning. I was moving forward. So, my dear student, if you are shy, don't worry. If you don't have a speaking partner, don't stop. Just talk to yourself every day. A little more, a little louder, a little better. That's how I learned to speak, and that's how you can learn too. Dear student, I want to tell you about one more thing that helped me a lot in my English journey. It was something simple, something powerful, and something I truly enjoyed. It was reading. Yes, reading easy English books, short stories, and fun articles changed the way I learned English. It made learning feel natural, like a part of my life. And the best part? I read what I loved. In the beginning, I didn't try to read big or difficult books. No, that would only confuse me and make me feel tired. I started small. I found children's storybooks with pictures and simple words. The stories were easy to understand, and they made me smile. I still remember one of the first books I read. It was about a boy and his dog. The sentences were short. The boy is happy, he plays with his dog. But those small sentences helped me a lot. I saw how real English worked in simple ways. I also read short English stories for beginners online. Every night before sleeping, I opened a short story on my phone. Some stories were about life, some were about school, some were about travel or dreams. They were all short, simple, and easy to understand. I didn't try to understand every word, I just enjoyed the story. If I saw a word I didn't know, I guessed the meaning from the sentence. Sometimes I used a dictionary, but I didn't stop reading. Because the stories were interesting, I wanted to keep going. One day, I found an article online about space. It was written in easy English. I loved it. Then I read another one about famous people. Then another about animals. I realized something amazing. I was learning English while learning about the world. That made me excited. I wanted to read more. I started reading every day, at home, in the library, even when I was waiting for a bus. I always had something in English with me. The more I read, the more I understood. Reading helped me learn new words without studying them one by one. I saw how words were used in real sentences. I learned grammar without memorizing rules. I saw how to ask questions, how to describe things, how to tell a story. I saw real English, not just textbook English. Reading also helped me with spelling and writing. I saw how words looked. I saw how sentences were written. I learned how to start a paragraph, how to end it, and how to make it clear. All of this helped me when I wrote in my notebook later. And you know what else? Reading gave me confidence. It made me feel smart. I wasn't just studying English. I was living with it. I wasn't forcing myself to learn. I was simply enjoying the language. I read what I loved, and that love helped me grow. So, my dear student, if you want to improve your English, start reading. But don't read what makes you bored. Read what makes you happy. Read what makes you curious. Read what makes you feel alive. It doesn't have to be long or hard. Even one small story every day can help you so much. It helped me, and I believe it can help you too. Because when you read what you love, English becomes not just a subject, but a part of your heart. Dear student, let me tell you something very special that helped me grow in my English journey, writing my thoughts in English. It may sound simple, but this small habit changed everything for me. I didn't write long essays or difficult grammar exercises. No, I just wrote about my life, my day, my feelings, my dreams, my goals. And little by little, my English became stronger. In the beginning, I was not sure what to write. I was afraid of making mistakes. But I told myself, it's okay, I'm learning. Mistakes are part of the journey. So I took a notebook and started with just 1 or 2 sentences each day. For example, today I woke up early. I feel happy because I studied English. That's it. Very simple. But I wrote it with love. Day by day I wrote more. I wrote about how I felt. I am tired today, but I want to learn. I wrote about my plans. Tomorrow I will listen to a podcast. I even wrote about my problems. Sometimes I feel sad because I don't speak well, but I will not give up. Writing helped me express myself. It gave me a voice in English. Sometimes I made spelling mistakes. Sometimes my grammar was not perfect. But I didn't stop. I kept going. And guess what? After a few weeks, I saw progress. My sentences became longer. My words became better. I learned how to connect ideas. I even looked back at my old pages and said, wow, I've improved. Writing also helped me to remember new words. When I learned a new word, I used it in my writing. For example, I learned the word excited, so I wrote, I am excited to watch an English movie tonight. This helped me remember the word and how to use it. I also started writing my goals in English. I wrote things like, I want to speak English fluently. I will practice 20 minutes every day. One day I will travel and speak English with confidence. These words were not just sentences. They were my dreams on paper, and every time I read them again, I felt strong and motivated. Dear student, if you want to improve your English, start writing. Don't worry about mistakes. Just write from your heart. Write about your day, your feelings, your plans, your hopes. One sentence is enough to start, and soon you'll be writing more. You'll grow faster than you think. That's what happened to me, and it can happen to you too. After I started writing and reading, I realized something important. If I wanted to truly become good at English, I had to do more. I had to make English part of my life, not just something I studied, but something I lived with every day. And that's what I did. I started by changing the language on my phone. Yes, it was a little hard at first. I didn't understand all the settings, but I learned fast. Now every time I opened my phone, I saw English. I saw words like settings, messages, gallery, and Wi-Fi. This helped me learn without even thinking about it. It was like English was all around me. Then I changed my social media to English. I followed pages that posted daily English phrases, funny jokes, short lessons, and English quotes. Every time I opened Instagram or Facebook, I read something in English. It became a fun part of my day. I even started writing my own posts in English sometimes. Just simple things like, I love learning English, or feeling good today. My friends saw it, and some even supported me. It made me feel proud. I also used English when I thought. Yes, I started thinking in English. For example, when I wanted to go outside, I told myself in English, I need my keys. Where are they? Or when I was eating, I thought, this is delicious. Slowly, my brain started using English automatically. It wasn't always perfect, but it helped me become more confident. I also labeled things in my room. I put small notes on the wall, my table, my laptop, my cup, my mirror. Every time I looked at something, I saw the English word for it. I even tried to explain my actions in English. Now I am brushing my teeth. I am cleaning the table. These small actions made a big difference. Dear student, the truth is, English is not only in books or schools. English is everywhere, in your phone, your routine, your thoughts. If you make English part of your life, it becomes easier and more natural. That's what I did. I didn't just study English, I lived with it. And that made all the difference. So start today. Change your phone's language, read a post in English, write your to-do list in English, talk to yourself, think in English, make it part of your world, and soon it will become a part of you.